BlizzCon is going to be this Friday and Saturday, and it may have very well been my favorite event of last year. Now, I am flying out tomorrow morning, the morning after you are watching this video, or maybe, you know, in some other place in the world, and it isn't quite morning anymore, but either way, I am flying out very, very soon, and I thought it'd be fun if we do a little bit of coffee time, where I talk about my predictions and expectations for what will be announced at BlizzCon. So for those of you unaware with what BlizzCon is, it's basically the main event of Blizzard Entertainment where they will, you know, announce all of the plans and changes and whatnot for all of their games. Usually at the very least we see quite a couple of very big announcements. For example, we saw, you know, obviously the Overwatch announcement recently and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's very, very, very fun, very, very nerdy. And on top of that, there's also going to be a ton of esports. In particular, I'm a massive Starcraft II fan. The WCS, the BlizzCon Grand Finals are going to be right over there as well, at the same venue where, you know, we will also see the rest of the announcements. So it's going to be, you know, a weekend full of fun for me. But anyhow, today I'm going to be talking about my predictions and expectations for what will be announced at BlizzCon. Now, I do want you to know that this is like 100% speculation. I don't know any more than you do. I don't really know exactly what's going to be announced, but I'm going to try and approach this with like reason and logic, okay? I'm gonna try and approach this in a way that at the very least seems plausible to me. I mean, a lot of people are like shouting like Warcraft 4. We'll go over that in a little bit, but I highly doubt things like that will be announced. Now, I will most definitely be vlogging the event, so expect that video to go up sometime next week, most likely. And I also got like a developer interview for Heroes of the Storm, for Starcraft II, and there's a bunch of really cool stuff that I will be doing over in LA, so definitely expect those videos to go up as well. And I already did prepare videos in advance too, for the time that I'm not at home, so you can, you know, still get your daily dose of, you know, gaming videos and all that. Anyhow, I'm rambling. That's probably what this video is going to be. It's going to be a lot of rambling, but let's get started with Starcraft II. So over the last couple of years, we obviously saw the expansion releases for Starcraft II, right? We first had Wings of Liberty, then we had Heart of the Swarm, and then we had Legacy of the Void. Now, a lot of people thought that when Legacy of the Void was going to be released, that would sort of like be the end, you know, of Starcraft II. But lo and behold, Blizzard has actually been actively supporting the game, and they have been making quite a couple of announcements and adjustments and all that to the game ever since, you know, Legacy of the Void has come out. We've got the Nova Covert Ops missions, we got the Nova Commander, we got Alarak, Abathur, like we got a whole bunch of new stuff that was added over time after the release of Legacy of the Void as well. And more recently, we also saw the introduction of unit skins as well as voice pack announcers and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So what I'm really expecting is nothing too dramatic or too drastic, I suppose. I'm gonna make the assumption that they're simply just gonna, you know, continue making more and more of those kinds of adjustments. So probably more unit skins, probably more like voice announcer packs, and, you know, maybe some other microtransactions in the game as well, which, by the way, is a good thing. I see a lot of people like not enjoying those type of things. I think it's a good thing because, well, hey, it keeps the development of the game going. I mean, developers do need, you know, to buy food, and they don't like working for free, I'm sure. Now, what we do know now is that co-op apparently is the most popular mode for Starcraft II, and I think they may very well continue onwards with that a little bit more. I mean, I play quite a little bit of co-op, but not nearly as much as some other players out there, and I'm already getting pretty close to hitting the max level as far as the mastery levels go in Starcraft II co-op, right? So I think I'm gonna be doing a change to that system and maybe overhaul that a bunch. Obviously announce new, you know, commanders as well as a new map, hopefully. That will be really, really cool. I wonder who's gonna be next, though. We only just know at Nova. I would love to see Stukov for maybe the Haka? That would be really cool as well. But anyhow, I think those are going to be the most likely announcements. Nothing too insane. Not like, you know, Starcraft 3 or not like, you know, a new Starcraft 2 expansion. That really wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. And obviously, we will also hear more about what the WCS and the multiplayer and whatnot will be like in 2017. I think that, you know, would be one of the coolest things that, you know, they're going to be announcing as well. Alrighty, next up we got Overwatch. Now, first and foremost, let me express this for just a little bit, right? As you may be aware, there's a little character known as Sombra. Now, for those of you that go on the internet at least semi-regularly, you will have noticed Sombra somewhere, sometime, at least on some website. They have been hyping up this character for so freaking long right now. And obviously the community is also partly due to that. But they've been hyping up this Sombra character for so long right now that it's, you know, getting honestly a little bit frustrating. Maybe that's just me, But I am personally just seeing so much hype, and it's sort of, it's starting to dwindle away. I would much rather see them, release new characters like they did with Ana, where it's, a little bit of hype, and then we got a new character. Right now, it's been like months or even like a half year of hype, and we got a new character that will more than likely be announced at BlizzCon, okay? I think we're gonna be finally able to play Sombra. Now, on top of that, I think they're gonna maybe give us some hints for any kind of potential heroes in the future, as well as more than likely a new map. I mean, we've seen those quite a bit, and potentially even a new game mode. I would really, really, really like to see that. I think those are going to be rather likely. Also, one of the things that I think is mostly missing from Overwatch right now is like an ability to like tell the storyline of all of the characters a little bit better. So whether or not that's gonna be, like an in-game, campaign type of mode, or maybe a single player, or maybe a co-op kind of scenario, maybe something that you will play with a bunch of friends against the computer or whatever, just to learn more about the backstory of all of the characters, or maybe something completely separate and like more, shorts for Overwatch as well. I mean, actually, now come to think of it, we've seen shorts of a lot of the, different heroes in the game. Wouldn't it make a lot of sense if there's gonna be like a Sombra short that's gonna be played at BlizzCon? That would make a lot of sense, actually. Anyhow, I think I'm gonna be announcing quite a couple of things as far as that goes, and just continued, more content. The game is still pretty fresh, and obviously they're still making a lot of adjustments to it already, so I don't think we should expect something absolutely enormous, not like a fully flushed out single player or whatever, although that would be amazing. I would love to play that. I highly doubt that is going to be ready, and obviously we will learn more about what they got in store as well as far as esports goes in the next year. Maybe like some sort of World Cup or something. I think that would be really, really cool. So like what they did with the summer games and all that, and they've already tried doing the whole region thing, and make people play in the all of the different cups and whatnot, and get the best teams to go up against each other. I think next year, 2017, will be a big year as far as like Overwatch esports goes. I think that would make by far the most sense. But other than that, maybe a couple of heroes, a short, maybe a new game mode, and then a new map, I don't think we should expect like anything super enormously big from Overwatch. Maybe though, it's obviously their new game, so I mean, it's their new baby. It's doing extremely well, so we'll see. Next up, we got Hearthstone. Now, Hearthstone announcements obviously aren't all too, flippin' exciting, because I think we can all make the assumption here that they're either going to be announcing a new expansion or a new adventure, right? I mean, that's pretty much a given right now, and it will more than likely be playable next week. I don't think anyone would be all too surprised by that. That seems to be one of the most common things they do in Hearthstone. It's just, a short little announcement, and then it's immediately available. There's maybe a new game mode or something, and maybe a little bit. I highly doubt it, to be completely frank with you. The game seems to be doing really well, and it's just in need of more and more cards and more different mechanics and more unique gameplay. And I feel like they've really settled on a really good trend as far as like releases go. I know that maybe if you play the game very, very hardcore, it may be a little bit tricky to really figure out exactly when new cards are going to be introduced. You may get a little bit tired of the existing decks and all that, but yeah, I think this is just going to be continued development, nothing like all too exciting, and nothing like something, nothing super unexpected, let me put it like that. Obviously, I may be completely wrong here. I would love to see, a fully fleshed out single player as well for Hearthstone. That would be amazing, but I don't think we should be expecting it. What I do really like though about Hearthstone, whenever they do announce a new expansion or an adventure or whatever, is all the trailers that they have. I think that's gonna be something we will see, so that should be a lot of fun. I can still sing the goblins, and no, like I can still sing that song all the time, as well as like the Grand Tournament. Like I'm sure that many of you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? I'm really looking forward to see another one of those trailers. All right, let's get into the speculation as far as Diablo goes. Now, I'm calling it right now, okay? I'm calling it right now. I think they're gonna announce something big for Diablo, and let me try and explain to you the reasons why. People have been expecting something big for Diablo quite a little while already, and for, really good reason, just for the straight up fact that they first and foremost have been hiring people for Diablo's development. I mean, we saw a couple of people switch over within Blizzard to different teams and all that, but they've been hiring new people for Diablo, so there's bound to be something Diablo, related happening. But more importantly, it's been kind of like dry as far as content goes for quite a little while already. We haven't really seen any kind of major additions to the game ever since Reaper of Souls came out, and then we obviously had the ladder system and all that as well. And I think the seasonal system is really, really solid as it is right now, but it's just desperately needing more endgame content other than greater rifts, right? If you've played maybe a season or 2 or 3 like myself, and you managed to get, you know, a pretty reasonable set of gear, and, you know, maybe every season you play until you get the new, you know, stash and all that, but other than that, there's really not a whole lot to do in Diablo. So there's a couple of rumors going around. Let me dismiss the first one that, you know, quite a lot of people seem to talk about. Some people are mentioning a Diablo-based MMORPG. I don't think that makes any sense. I mean, we've got World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is by far the most popular MMORPG. It's doing extremely well, and if they would announce a Diablo MMO, I think they would probably cannibalize their own audience. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. On top of that, I don't think they're gonna be making Diablo 4 just yet. Now, don't get me wrong, Diablo 3 does have a bit of a, I don't want to say necessarily bad name, but it definitely leaves a bit of a sour taste in many people's mouth. Just from the initial release where we had like the real money auction house and a lot of other issues. And it really just didn't feel like a, you know, successful and a meant successor to like Diablo 2. And a lot of people were disappointed at the time. It is a very, very, very good game right now, though, and I think a lot of the mechanics they have built into Diablo 3 could be carried over to Diablo 4 as well, but I'm giving that like a 20% chance. I think what would be much more likely is going to be a second expansion to Diablo. Now, there have been a couple of leaks. First and foremost, we know that people were, you know, being hired for Diablo. But also there were like some leaks of like a necromancer class image, which obviously could be a reference to Diablo 2, but those were definitely most recent drawings, you know, for Diablo, and obviously they could be used for a gazillion different things. It is like I believe the 20-year anniversary or whatever of Diablo as well, so I really would be surprised if they don't announce something big, right? I think it would make perfect sense, and considering how like dry of content it's been, I think it would make a lot of sense if we do see something relatively big, at the very least, you know, a massive addition to the game. And really, I think the main way they would continue that development is just if they introduce a new expansion. There just needs to be new content, and I don't think Reaper of Souls is really going to, you know, sell a whole lot more copies, if that makes any sense. So if they're gonna be releasing something new, it has to be a second expansion. Diablo 4 is just so unlikely. Even like Diablo 3 has only been out for like what, a couple of years. It's not even really been that long, right? Not that they're gonna be releasing something completely new just yet. So I think they're gonna be announcing a second expansion for Diablo 3. But obviously we'll have to see if that prediction is good and if it's anywhere even remotely based accurate. But I think it will make a lot of sense. Next up, let's talk about World of Warcraft. Now, if there's one issue that every single expansion since like the Burning Crusade has had, is that there is a lack of content in between the previous expansion and the next one. We know that at some point, you know, they released like 3, maybe 4 raid tiers, and then people move on to the, you know, another game just because after finishing up those raid tiers, there's not a whole lot left to do. And I think Blizzard has sort of learned their lesson. They have announced that they're gonna slow down a little bit on the, you know, releases of expansions. At the very least, that is the impression that I was getting from, you know, listening to the developers and all that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they will announce the plans that they're gonna be, you know, using and like the content that they plan on releasing between right now and the next expansion. I always feel like the initial like maybe half year to like full year after an expansion is superb. Legion seems to do extremely well. A lot of people are truly enjoying that game still. I mean, I have like half my friend list always playing World of Warcraft, so I think they're pretty happy with how Legion is looking right now. I think they really want to not fall into the trap again where they have like a content drought between the, you know, previous expansion and the next one. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're gonna be like announcing not like 1 or 2 more raid tiers, but maybe even like 3, 4. And like, you know, we've already obviously are at patch 7.1 right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we would see like a additional bunch of tiers of raiding to really minimize the amount of content drought. Now, there is definitely use for a drought of content as well, but in the previous expansions, like, you know, just to get people hyped up for the next expansion, right? In the previous expansions, it just always has been too long. I believe the previous one was like 14 months before people got something new to try out, which is just a ludicrous amount of time. There's not a, you know, the game is huge. There's a ton of content in the game, but if you are someone who's played for years, if you've done the latest raid content and you've done pretty much the entire expansion, it's, you know, it's sort of that, right? That's pretty much it. So I think we're not quite going to see like a new expansion announcement. Although I would love to see like, you know, maybe the Emerald Dream, or maybe something Ashara related, but I think that's going to be something for next year. I think for now, we'll focus on what's going to be happening in like the next year and a half or so in World of Warcraft, what their plans are, and how they're going to be, continuing forward in the future. Because I definitely do think they have learned from those mistakes at the very least, because the subscriber numbers always went down and down and down after expansions, and I don't think they want to quite go there again, in particular now that they are back up to a very respectable rating. As far as one of the most discussed systems goes, I suppose, the legacy servers, we had that whole drama go on a couple of months ago. A lot of people like to see legacy servers where we're basically going to be able to play the classic game. And I think Blizzard has considered it, but I don't think they're going to go for it. And the reason for that is because they would split up their player base. And if there's one thing that Blizzard has always tried to stay true to, is that all of their players are going to be able to play at the very least similar content. They don't really want to, have people split up in separate sections of a game. Of course, like say we have, players that didn't buy Legion yet and they're not going to be able to enter that zone. That at the very least makes sense because people are still playing on the same servers and all that, and people are still able to group up. If they would split up to legacy servers as well, I think people might play that for a couple of months, and some maybe, very diehard and play it for a very long amount of time. But I don't think it's worth. I don't think on like a business level it makes a lot of sense for Blizzard to do that. Just because they would have to split up their customer support, they would have to split up the development teams, they would have to still push like the latest releases of talents and things and balance and all that to the legacies. I don't think they're gonna go there. I don't think legacy servers are gonna be a thing. I know that many people might enjoy seeing that, and I personally would like to see it as well. I don't think so. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Maybe I'm wrong though. I guess we'll see. Another one of those games where I don't think they're gonna announce something absolutely humongous is going to be Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm is, like, at the very least, doing very respectably. The esports scene is steadily growing. They've announced some really great plans for 2017 esports with the salary of their players and a whole bunch of really awesome things. And I don't think they're going to be introducing anything really big, in particular now that they've just announced the brawling system, right? Brawls are, looking very, very, very exciting. They're very, very fun to play. I've been playing them a whole lot as well. It's been really good. I don't think they're gonna announce something really big. What I think we can expect, though, is maybe like a trailer or two of upcoming heroes. And obviously, currently in like development type of skins and all those kinds of things. I think that would make quite a lot of sense if we would see something like that. And maybe a new map or two. Obviously, we only just now recently at Gamescom saw the addition of the Starcraft themed map. So maybe like one map and two heroes. I think that would probably make the most sense. I don't think we should expect something absolutely enormous, and I don't think we really should be expecting, them to go all out. Now, maybe I'm mistaken though, because we do know that Blizzard has been pushing Heroes of the Storm for a very long time, but I think they seem to be much more focused on refinement rather than rushing out content. And I think right now they're at a really good spot where, at the very least, most of the heroes have got their place in the game, and they all have got, at very least, like, something to add to the existing roster. And at the very least, like, there's no heroes right now in competitive play that really are completely left out. Obviously, there are more popular picks, but at the very least, all of the heroes seem to have their place. So I think they're just simply going to continue that trend of adding on, slowly but surely, more and more characters to it. Maybe one or two a month, or really like one a month, really like the schedule that I've been keeping for quite a long time. And maybe like one or two announcements right now, including a map as well. Now, let me explain to you why I don't think we're going to be seeing Warcraft 4 or like a Diablo MMORPG, okay? A lot of people seem to, make the assumption that that may be something that's going to be coming in the near future, but for either instances, I think it's highly unlikely. What we've been seeing from like the last few years from Blizzard is that they are like, using their different franchises in different categories. So Starcraft II, RTS, World of Warcraft, MMO, Hearthstone, their card game. We got Diablo as their action RPG. And I think we're gonna see those franchises consistently added to those categories. I don't think we're gonna see a massive shift. If they would release Warcraft 4, what would effectively happen is they would kill their own Starcraft 2 game. They would cannibalize their own audience because everyone that's currently playing Starcraft 2 would switch over to Warcraft 4. And considering the amount of development that's been going on in Starcraft 2, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. I don't think they're gonna stop, supporting Starcraft, and I don't think they're gonna stop making new content for Starcraft for the next couple of years, at the very least. So maybe 2020 is when we would see the first announcement of Warcraft 4, but I don't think we should be expecting it in the near future. And the same goes for Diablo. Like a Diablo-based MMORPG, like I said, it would kill their World of Warcraft, you know, game, and it doesn't make any sense because they've got the most popular MMORPG. That, like, on a business level, announcing either of those two, it just doesn't make any sense. What does make sense though, and what I do think is going to be announced as well, is a revival of like their old classic Blizzard games. So you know how you have the Battle.net launcher right now where it says like World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Starcraft, the whole shebang? I think they're gonna add a little tab to that at the bottom or something that says classic titles. You gotta keep in mind that, like, compared to many of the other gaming companies out there, Blizzard really doesn't have all too many games. I mean, if you compare it to like Ubisoft or whatever, like EA or whatever, right? They've got a gazillion different titles, but I think they're gonna be, at the very least, allow us to play once again Diablo 2 on modern day systems, on like high resolution monitors and all that, things that weren't meant to be, you know, at the very least played on that. Warcraft 3, and then also, at the very least, you know, the old Starcraft games. But Diablo 2, Starcraft 1, and Warcraft 3, I think those make a lot of sense, and I think those are definitely something that we will be seeing either like an HD remaster version, or at the very least something that we can once again start playing on modern day systems as well. But what I would really like to see personally, and I don't know if this is gonna happen, I think this first part, it makes a lot of sense, because I think they want to keep on supporting those games. What I would really like to see though, is that they're going like all out when it comes to supporting classic games. So maybe even like the original Lost Viking games, or like Rock and Roll Racing, or like Blackthorn, or the original Diablo, or, you know, games like that. And Warcraft, like Warcraft 1 would be so cool. I would love to see a little tab like that show up in the Battle.net launcher, and I mean, that would be something that would at the very least make sense in my head. But I think at least the initial 3 games that I just said, so Warcraft 3, Starcraft 1, Diablo 2, I think those games will most definitely be something that we will be able to start playing very soon. They've already, you know, we've already seen a lot of rumors go around about those games, and I don't see why they wouldn't, you know? I mean, they will probably be able to sell each and every one of those games for a pretty hefty amount. I mean, I would love to play StarCraft 1 once again, but it just doesn't run properly on my system. I mean, I wouldn't mind spending some money to play their classic games again. I mean, I'm sure that none of you, you know, like, even like playing Diablo 2 right now, I have never played Diablo 2 before. And I know many people consider it one of the very best games of all time, but if you want to install it on like a modern day system, it is a headache. Like, you don't just install the game and play. You need to like do a whole lot of shenanigans before you can even get it to properly run. And I mean, not a lot of people are willing to go through that headache, you know? So I'm sure Blizzard has the resources to remake their classic games, and I think it would make a lot of sense if they are gonna, you know, allow us to play that once again. But other than that, I think it is just simply going to be a bit of a waiting game to see exactly what will be announced. So once again, I'm going to be flying out in the morning. I'm stupidly excited. It's going to be a great event. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Let me know what your predictions are down below in the description of this, or not in the description, sorry, in the comment section of this video. Am I accurate? Do you think I'm way over the top? Do you think I'm making, you know, way too few assumptions? Do you think I should have been way greedier with my predictions? Let me know down below, and I would love to read your thoughts as well. Anyhow, other than that, I want to thank you all very much so for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you in the next one.